What's up, y'all? My name is Dean Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. If you're listening, you could be listening at allthingscomedy.com, which is a dope place to listen because they have podcasts there from some of the best comics in the country. Tom Papa has a podcast there. Bobby Lee from Tiger Belly has his podcast there. Bill Burr has his podcast there. As a matter of fact, he has two podcasts there. He has one with Bert Kreischer there. Bert Kreischer has his podcast there. And the list goes on and on and on. So go to allthingscomedy.com if you're listening to this podcast here. You can also hear this podcast on iTunes, Omni Studio, and probably other places too. I just can't remember right now. You can watch it at YouTube at Ian Edwards or Ian Saka Comic Rant Edwards. And if you are, just like and subscribe. Try to build this community and following up. And sponsor for the podcast is onthevolleyapparel.com. And if you use my promo code Comic Rant, you get 20% off tanks, tees, hoodies, sweatshirts. It's a dope site, and they got some great gear with hip hop, soccer logos and emblems on the front of them. And let's get down to it. We've been watching the Euros. We got the usual suspects in the building or in the Zoom. We're all wearing black T-shirts. It's not on purpose. It's just some shit that happened. We got Lee Hudson, Southampton fan, a comic from England. What up, Lee?
I'm feeling okay after today's game.
All right.
Just about. Not like super happy, but I'm slightly happier than normal.
happier than we were after Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And rocking the Chrome headset, trying to out headset me. I see what you're doing. Man. Neil came with the professional looking. What brand is that?
It's the brand that a lot of people on Amazon.com seem to like. I literally don't care about anything else.
Well, let's see if that's Amazon setting you up.
Yeah, I mean, if now somebody has a problem with my headset, I'm just gonna direct them to that URL.
Mm-hmm. Let them complain right there.
Outsource the outrage.
Hilarious. That's funny. We got Neil Chakravarty, comic from India by way of San Diego. Lives in San Diego. What up? How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good. I like that a lot of these games are just going on, and it's now it seems like England's done what the bare minimum required for Gareth Southgate to keep his job. And now we can actually begin the tournament.
Hilarious. The beginning of the tournament is the end of the tournament for us. That's what it sounds like you're saying. Because now, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Here's like a frivolous ass question. So far in the tournament, who got the best kits of the tournament? What you got, Lee?
I like the Portugal kit.
Always, I
like that they've got red shirts, green shorts, red socks now, because like previously they've been wearing like all red for a little while.
Mm-hmm. Which I like too.
I like they've gone back to the green shorts. It's kind of like a retro kind of look for them.
Yeah.
So I quite like that. What other ones are nice? I quite like the Belgium away shirt. Not the red one, the sort of off-white one.
Mm-hmm.
That looks quite nice.
Trying to think, I can remember it. I like Portugal. I like France's blue shirt. I mean, well, it's similar to like the Poland shirt that Poland played Spain in. Like it's the same companies. They made it in the same style, so I like that one. So I like the Poland shirt, and that's the only thing I like about Poland is the shirt. And France has the same shirt, but in a different color, and I like Portugal. And I'm never crazy about the England shirts. I wish I liked them more. I'd get one, but I still might get one.
They always seem to be like a bit bland.
Oh, just like the way the team plays. That's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with England for the last 4 or 5 years, they've already tried to go retro.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with retro is like you can go retro once. If retro is what you're doing every season, then it loses its meaning. Then that's just this generation now.
Right. Yeah, they're always trying to do some.
One of the games I found really fun was the North Macedonia versus Ukraine, because North Macedonia's kit is made by a company called Jayco, and Ukraine have a company called Joma. So like it was a game where there was no Adidas, there was no Nike, there was no Puma. It was like
Jayco versus Joma.
Yeah, it was like when you go to like a supermarket and it just has all the off-brand stuff, like one of those budget ones where like nothing, everything looks like something that might be a brand, but it's not.
That's hilarious.
I really like the Germany away black.
Germany away.
I generally like.
Is that what they played Portugal in, or who did they? Where did they?
Gotta check. I actually don't remember like if they actually played a game in it because.
Yeah, I don't think they.
But I remember talking about. Yeah.
Oh, I like that Dutch black.
Yeah, the Dutch black. Yeah, that's. I generally
orange.
like. I feel like football needs to have a lot more black kits. There's just, especially in English football, I don't think we ever see black
Don't
kits.
put England in a black kit because they can't absorbing any more sunlight. Game. They'll just be kits on the ground and the players melted. So
but the Germany black kit is really nice, and one thing I was a little disappointed in is the Holland home kit, because I usually always look forward to the Holland home kits, but it just seems too bright this time.
Why do you always look forward to the Holland home kits?
Because I just love orange, like, in any sport. It's not just football, like even Formula 1, for example, Max Verstappen, he's a Dutch driver, and just to see like when he comes out in his colors and you have this entire stand of people in orange colors, like all the Dutch fans that he has, it's just an amazing, it's one of the best sights in sport for me.
Colors, so you like bright colors.
Yeah, I like, especially like the Holland orange, but I feel like this time they kind of like ruined it a little bit for me.
And so last week I asked the same question as like, how you like in the second round of the tournament? And for me, I feel like the bad teams in the world are catching up to the rest of the good teams in the world, and now some of the bad teams are only one goal less better than their opponents that they're facing. And there's been some really good football, even from like North Macedonia. Like they lose attractively, and there's just been a lot of great emotional moments, like Pandev playing his last Euros game after getting them there, and they gave Magard the honor off the field. And then I don't want to go too much into the Denmark qualifying to the second round moment, but that was with watching the split screen game of Belgium playing and Denmark playing Russia. That was pretty amazing day of football. So the second round has like added to the first round, and the refereeing, like more people are starting to talk about how good it is, and all you have to do to be a good referee is not make a call every 3 seconds. You have to just let people play. And I was wondering, it's like, so you always, like, part of bad refereeing is on the players because the players are diving. So people always blame the refs, but if the refs are going to get the blame, they're the ones that are going to have to fix the game. And they've shown in this tournament that they can fix the game. Like, I've seen people get yellows for diving, and they need to do that. And I've seen them just not make calls. Like in the England game today, there's so many times, like, there's people going down like dominoes, and the ref is like, keep playing. Who wants to get the ball first? It's up to them. So those are my thoughts on the second round. What do you think, Neil?
Yeah, I think the standard of football kind of like, and you can see, right, like the second, and already we are seeing some of the third round, the last round of games. The desperation kind of shows in a lot of these teams, like the way they're playing. Even England, for that matter, it looked like a slightly different England team. Yeah, especially like the first 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, because they put ball handling players on the, they put some point guard footballers out there.
Yeah, and like some of these players also, it seems like now it's their last chance to do anything before they can. Because if you go to the knockout, the two things that can happen, right? Either the team plays badly and you're out, your tournament's done, or if you play well, then those same players keep getting played in the next game. So this is kind of like a last chance for some of these guys to show what they can. Like Saka took his chance, today. Grealish, although Grealish, I don't really think he's had a bad game for a while now at the England level. I thought Henderson was good too when he came on for the last 30 minutes or so. So
Henderson's back, baby.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see I still feel they should just go with that one, just Declan Rice and not have anybody else behind.
Well, we'll go into that game.
Yeah,
just the overall.
Yeah, overall, a lot of great. As you said, like the Denmark game was amazing. I didn't really expect. That's the one team I got wrong in my bracket because I didn't expect that they're gonna go through after what happened on day one. But yeah, that was amazing to see. You could see like there was some sort of common cause, and I genuinely feel like they were hard done by that game after Erikson. I don't think they would have at least lost that game. So it was good that they went through. The Portugal Germany game I think was amazing. The comeback. It felt like Germany is kind of, it's one of those,
Well, just hold off on. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Specifics, but yeah.
I think overall it's getting better. The tournament's getting better, and I don't know if it's getting better because I can also see that it's gonna end soon, but it's definitely getting better.
Oh, you're one of those, huh?
I want my players to rest, baby.
You'll be in a bad relationship, and it's just getting better because it's towards the end.
I want everybody rested for preseason.
Oh, it's pretty selfish. You have no countries in the tournament, so you're just thinking about Chelsea.
Hey, if Australia can play in the Asian conference, how about you guys give India a chance in Europe?
Yeah, we've been to Australia. It's pretty Asian. So Asian people all over the place. Lee, what's up? What do you think about this second round and going into the third round? Because that's what it was, right?
Yeah, we're sort of partway through the last round of fixtures now. But yeah, like the second round of games are good. Things started to open up a bit more. I think the first round is always like a little bit cagey. Like teams just don't want to have that loss on their back after the first game. I think like some of the only ones that really were open were like Netherlands versus Russia, Netherlands versus Ukraine was quite open in that first game. Obviously, that was like the 3-2. So in this, like most of the other games were like 1-0s or 0-0s. I think like Italy and Belgium had big wins, but that was it. But then the game just sort of opened up a bit in that second round of fixtures, which is quite nice to see. And then even more so in the third round, I think now, because it's like, it's crunch time. Like that Belgium, the Belgium group was great with like you said, the two games side to side, Denmark, Russia, and Belgium, Finland. So that was fun to watch. So yeah, I've been enjoying it. I mean, aside from England, Scotland, that was a tough 90 minutes to sit through. 90 minutes of my life that I won't get back. But Scotland won their cup final 0-0, so fair play to them. So they can take this memory from their 1 point group performance. But no, it's been fun.
All right. So let me see what else did I want to get into. So we watched the games today, and it was England versus the Czech Republic. And how did it? Well, first of all, you've got brackets, right? So how are you doing with your brackets?
So mine for the Group A, I had Italy finishing top and Turkey coming second. So I got the Italy call right, but I got the Turkey call very, very wrong.
Absolutely wrong.
Worst team in the tournament, 0 points.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I mean, them and North Macedonia are the two worst teams, but Turkey got a worse goal difference. They are officially the worst team. But Group B, I had Belgium top in the group and Denmark second. So I got that one correct.
Barely.
Group C,
yeah. No fault.
Group C, I had Netherlands first and Austria second. So I got that one spot on. I called Austria would be the second best team in that group. And then Group D, I had England, Croatia being the top two, but I had them the other way around. I didn't think Croatia were going to be as mediocre as they have been, but they look like they almost look like old Croatia today.
Yeah, they showed up today.
That Modric goal was unreal. Just incredible technique. So yeah, and then the other groups are still waiting for them to finish. So I won't speak on them just yet.
Neil, what's your brackets looking like?
I think I got 7 out of the 8 right. Which so the only one I didn't get right is Denmark. I had I think I had Finland going through. Oh no, I had Russia going through. But
when did you made that bracket after
I made
Erikson?
Yeah, I made that bracket that day when Erikson went off. So that kind of like messed. Well, it isn't cheating if you don't even know that such a thing exists before that. I was trying really hard to find a bracket.
You didn't know brackets existed?
I knew brackets exist, but ESPN didn't show up on my radar before that day.
This is a cheat bracket. I did mine before a ball was even kicked.
Neil, your bracket don't count. I don't want to hear nothing else.
Well, but it's still pretty spot on though. I think I'm getting a lot of lucky.
Of course it is.
I'm getting a lot of
I made my
lucky
bracket today and it's 100% correct.
Hey, come on! I was only like the tournament was only about 8% through. So,
but you'd already seen Turkey completely get destroyed. So you knew they weren't.
No, but like if you go back to our predictions, I think I didn't give Turkey much of a chance, anyways.
You're worse than Southgate. You picks the team after the tournament. You're making your bracket after the tournament. You should love it.
Not really after the tournament. How many games happened by then?
Yeah,
if anything, what that did was it actually threw me off. I would have probably got 8 out of 8 right if that whole Erikson thing didn't happen. So, you gotta give me this one.
Nah. That's not how brackets work.
Especially if like if I get some of those lucky, what are these guys called? Lucky losers. If I get some of those lucky losers in, you gotta give me those.
Yeah, bro. You're right. Sure.
But France is playing England in the final, so.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for giving England all that props, especially since most of the players play for your team and you want your team to get rest. Now you're contradicting yourself.
Well, I might have to change it again because now I'm pretty pissed off that Chilwell and Mount have been asked to isolate. So I might. You
should be happy. Your Chelsea players get to rest.
Yeah,
they don't get injured.
Yeah.
Thank Billy Gilmore hooked them up with COVID or jeopardized them. So what do you? Lee, what do you think of the England Czech Republican game today that made you happier than you were the other day when England played Scotland?
I mean, that first half I thought was more positive than the Scotland game.
The entire Scotland game.
Yeah. I mean, it started on positive foot with like that ball from Shaw over to Sterling, which hit the post. That was a good chance. And then obviously Saka did amazing on the goal, that turn in his own half and then just being aggressive and running at people. And Grealish just keeping the ball alive as well. So like the first half was good. And the second half, we just controlled the game, which was probably what we had to do. It was a bit unattractive in terms of it was a lot of backwards and sideways, but we didn't need to throw players forward and be open.
Right.
So, tactically, Southgate did what he had to do. I can understand why he did it. It's just not very entertaining. But I mean, the fans want entertainment, but as a manager, it's not your job to entertain. It's your job to do the job. So, I mean, we can't complain with three clean sheets. I mean, we only scored 2 goals, which is a little bit worrying considering it wasn't the toughest group. So I'd like to see us be a bit more adventurous, but I mean, 3 clean sheets, 7 points, it's a job done. But
don't you think he should attack? Because it's like attack practice, and we definitely need attack practice. So even though we were like controlling the game is one thing, but how about we work on something that we need to work on? And it's like attacking practice.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword though, because I think our route to like our route through the knockout stages, if we're going to progress, it's going to be tough. So we're going to need to be defensively solid. We're not going to be able to throw players forward if we get, we're going to get someone from the group of death now. So we can't play super attacking in those games. So at least the players have had some practice at being a little bit more pragmatic. So he might just be trying to get that mentality in there before those games come around.
I think we got that mentality. It's just I think we got that mentality. We got the lateral pass mentality on lock.
Pretty much, yeah. But I mean, if we're gonna beat any of these teams, we're gonna need to score goals, because we all know that if England take it to penalties, I mean, it's probably not going to end well, especially if it's Germany that we get. So
that's why we need to learn how to attack, so we don't have to end up in a penalty thing. It's funny. Every game, I think we've hit the post, and it's always in the beginning of the game. Like Stones in the first game, Foden, and then Raheem Sterling. So hopefully, like in the next games, the ball moves inside of the post a little bit, and we can get those goals. And I'm not sure about this Harry Kane thing. Like, he did get that shot, but besides that, tentative.
that's his only shot on target in the whole tournament so far.
Yeah. I just like looking at him, like if a ball pops up in the air in his direction, he's kind of tentative to like get into it with a defender. There was a few passes he did control under pressure, but it's Harry Kane, you expect more. And my problem with it is, like, I think Southgate is letting Harry Kane play the way Harry Kane plays at Tottenham, which is like he's coming back deep because it makes Harry Kane comfortable, but he needs to start making him play up front, like he's Lukaku, or it's like, this is not Tottenham. You don't have to come back and defend. Mourinho is not coaching you. Like, stay up, because sometimes the ball is up and the guys have no one to pass the ball behind a defender to, because Harry Kane is back. Whether you help.
At the moment, it feels like Southgate is playing him because of what he might do, not because of what he's actually doing. Like, it's just, England had a real problem with that with Rooney sometimes. Like, even when Rooney was in terrible form, England always used to play him because of what he might do. Like, he might score a volley from 20 yards or something. Right. It wasn't because he was actually playing well and threatening to do that. It's because, he's a good player and he might do something. Right. But I think today it's like, I mean, he looks like he needs a holiday. So like, today was a great opportunity. Like, put Calvert-Lewin in, because Calvert-Lewin's a penalty box striker. He wins headers. He fights defenders. You know, he enjoys those battles, and give him some minutes to have a look at him, because it wouldn't have really affected the team, in my opinion. And Kane was just, I'm criticizing him now. He'll probably pop up and score a winning goal against a good team or something.
Well, that means you need to criticize him then, just because that's going to happen.
Because it's been like, what, Sterling, Saka, and maybe Kane now, who's, people have kind of like looked at and said that, well, maybe they don't deserve to play, but they're doing the business.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not shitting on Kane. It's just that if I'm just describing what I saw out there. Like, he was just not into it. The Czech Republic, you know what I mean? Like, the way I was hoping he'd be into the Czech Republic, like, into playing him, it just wasn't. You just really do want more. What do you think?
Like, Czech Republic and Scotland are like mid-table to lower table Premier League teams in terms of their quality levels, right? And that's the teams that he scores for fun against for Tottenham. But he's not doing it at the moment. It's a worry.
Maybe he's waiting for the big teams.
Yeah.
You mean he's feeling the $100 million price tag that Man City offered for him already on England?
It might be distracting him, the whole transfer thing.
Maybe, but he needs to. He just listen. Sometimes I just feel. Sometimes I'm frustrated because it's like, all you have to do is just be more aggressive. Sometimes.
He got a good shot off today. It was a good save by the keeper.
Say that sentence again.
He got a good shot off today. And those are
Yeah, doesn't sound right. He got a good shot off today. Harry
yeah, he
Kane,
did. Harry Kane.
England's best striker,
A
got a
good shot.
had a good shot. Yeah, but go ahead.
I think the whole transfer, it's not just the transfer bid that's playing on his mind.
Mhm.
I think what's probably playing on his mind is the sinking reality that he's not going to be able to leave because Daniel Levy's going to be Daniel Levy.
Right. And
I
I was talking
think
to Lloyd today, and
Yeah.
like it was right before the England game, and he was like, Lukaku's going to City. So
Mm,
I didn't get a chance to check it. But
mm.
if that is true, then he knows he's blowing. Kane knows my opportunity to go win the Premier League and play in Champions League final is
Yeah.
blown by my Spurs team. So he could be that. That's not good, especially when you're not playing good already. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if anything he does in this tournament is going to change any of that. Like what? Like maybe if he ends up Golden Boot, England win the tournament, then some team like Man City is going to be like, okay, forget about what we thought 2 weeks back. We just got to go give them whatever it takes. I don't think that's going to happen.
it's only 20 million, and
Also, like I think Lukaku, Inter need to sell players. They're in a financial
Yeah.
hole.
exactly.
So, and Pep's probably looked at that De Bruyne Lukaku link up for Belgium as well and
Mhm.
thought, this is going to be maybe a bit more cost effective and productive to go that route instead. So wouldn't surprise me because like Lukaku, you can probably get him now for like 70, 80, like max. You can maybe even be able to haggle him down.
I think
a little bit
definitely
more.
definitely 80 because they paid 80 for him. And there's no reason to lose money on them. He's still young and he just won the league. So it's going to be over 80. But
Yeah,
but Man City got it.
still cheaper than Kane.
Yeah, still
I mean, the price is saying for Kane, 150 million for somebody who is that age.
who
It
said
just
that
makes-
though? Martin or a legit source?
Well, I think that's the price that they're quoting, right? Because they're talking about something like 100 million plus Jesus, Gabriel Jesus being short of what Tottenham want. That obviously puts it at something around 130 million or something. And then if they want more, next thing is 150 million, right?
They were talking today about 100 million plus Jesus and Sterling, which is crazy.
And then Sterling said, "Let me score today so that they take my name out that equation."
And also, there's a reason why swap deals don't happen anymore as often as they used to in the past, because players are not they're not keen to be used as chips.
Mhm.
Like imagine going and telling Raheem Sterling, "Hey, you got to play for a team that has no manager." Why would he do that? He'll just sit here, right? Like, how can you force him to leave?
Right.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, we won today. And they did some things I like. They played Saka. They started Grealish. We held on to the ball a little bit, but when just naked eye tests, England does not have enough to. And who might we play, Neil? Because you sent me that thing. That was pretty interesting. So that England's out the round. They finished top of the group.
You're gonna play one of the, somebody from the France, Portugal, Germany group.
So now I got to root for Hungary to come through.
I think what's gonna happen is now, whoever finishes second in that group. So it looks like France is probably gonna finish first, right? So
Maybe
not.
Play Portugal.
Yeah, you got to play Portugal.
Okay, so let's look at that. But so France is on 4, Germany, Portugal on 3 each. Yeah, it could be close.
Germany might actually finish first out that group because they got Hungary.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if France, Portugal is a draw, but Germany beat Hungary, then we get France.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn, that's supposed to be my final.
Well, it's going to be England's final match.
Yeah.
If that's the case. Speaking of the I was watching like what's his name, Rudiger, your boy Neil, was explaining why he bit Pogba in the back and grabbed his titties. And you know, his
I think his explanation was that I had consent, so don't talk to me about it.
yeah, go ask Pogba. He was down, and he did not press charges, so we're good here. But he was like their plan was to be physical with France, Germany's plan. But that also apparently was Hungary's plan. So people are like shitting on France for not beating Hungary, but like Hungary is so physical and so rigid that like you can see why they gave Portugal that much trouble. And when they get the ball, they don't waste the ball. The players have confidence, and they're playing in front of a packed stadium. They don't give a fuck about COVID if it comes back. They're using those crowds as the 12th man to will them forward, and they're playing for their fans. And man, you don't want to face Hungary, even if you're more skillful from them. And if Rudiger wants to take a lesson in physicality, he hope he watched the Hungary game, because that's how you play a team physical.
Did you hear, speaking of those one-to-one things, like the Rudiger Pogba thing, did you hear about the Scotland defender and Jack Grealish?
Oh, yeah. Well, McGinn.
Well, no, it was O'Donnell was the wing back for Scotland, but McGinn, who plays with Grealish at Villa, told him when he comes on, like, give him compliments and mess with his head that way. So O'Donnell was like telling him he had nice hair and nice calves.
That's right.
And stuff like that. Because he said, like, he's used to defenders just talking shit to him and being like, I'm going to kick you, I'm going to, I'm going to stop them today, and all this other stuff. And he just like started blowing kisses and like telling me he had nice hair and stuff.
Grealish is a character. I mean, everything like even when England starts putting out these social media posts of behind the scenes and stuff, Grealish just looks like an awesome character. He had this moment when they were doing they're kitting out with the suits. Everybody's getting measured and taking a photo with wearing suits, and there's a moment where Jordan Henderson is actually helping Grealish get his tie in order, and then Grealish asks him, "Hey, when you won the Champions League, do you have a suit made for the day?" And Henderson says, "No, not really." And the Grealish goes, "Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? You make a suit for the final and then you end up losing. Everybody blames the suit for it." And Phil Foden's sitting right there. He's like, his face turns white. His face turns as white as his hair.
I mean, hey man. So he was fucking with Foden, you're saying? He meant it.
Well, I wouldn't put that past Jack Grealish.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. That's funny.
He's got to be like that though, because he's like, I think this year in the Premier League he was the most foul player. I think above Zaha. So you've got to be like that. I mean, he even, I don't know if you remember, like a few years back, it was a Birmingham versus Aston Villa game when a fan ran up
and punched him, and he scored that game, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he went and scored the winner later on in that game. So like,
and that's a big rivalry game. That's a derby.
Yeah. So he's a guy who can, like, he'll take loads of stuff, so he'll give it back as well. Like, he's like that game. He got punched by a fan. He went and scored the winner. He gets kicked all over the place in the Premier League. He gets up and he creates goals and scores goals.
Right.
So I like his mentality, and he seems like a sort of fun, like sort of a joker, but he backs it up.
And it was and it was fun to see him on the field with other creative players combining with them, like getting the ball from Saka, giving it back, switching to the other side of the field, putting in a cross. And get Sterling getting on the end of it. Yeah, it's just so Southgate. Let's get creative, baby. Oh, look who shows up. Coming to the Zoom, joining the Zoom is Martin Harris, comic, actor. He also roots for every team England plays against. And he's been wrong every time, but if you keep doing it, eventually you'll be right. But it still is not going to get Spurs a manager or make Harry Kane stay. What up, Martin?
Hey. couple of true statesmen, couple of questions.
Is that a go home Poland? I think you missed the home in front of the goal.
That could happen. I mean, they'll have to go home eventually. You know, they can get home with a trophy too.
Scotland went home today, and they're already home. It was like,
No, I mean, listen.
Mark, you don't even know what we're talking about. I just introduced you. The podcast was going on before you got here.
No, Martin just got back from interviewing a few candidates. He just got back from interviewing a few candidates.
I'm wrong. I'm not wrong, but it's okay. We'll get there.
Yeah, we were talking about England. Go ahead.
So yeah, you said that I root against England and that I'm always wrong. No, I think we had this internal discussion.
Every time England plays a team, you root for that other team, and all 3 times nothing.
That was an absolute coincidence.
Yeah, it's not so of a coincidence. Yeah.
But I think England will go home after the next round. I really do. I think they're not playing very good football. They're playing efficient football, but they didn't inspire me in this tournament so far. And I think that the teams they're going to play in the next game, well, if they beat either France or Germany, because it looks like Portugal can finish first or third, most likely, but not second. So they'll play second from that group. It will be either Germany or France, most likely Germany, if France gets result against Portugal. So they'll most likely play Germany. And I just don't think they historically play well against Germany. And
Germany can finish first in that group.
They can, but the way the results will probably go, I assume that Portugal will finish third, France or Germany will finish first. And then I believe that France will beat Portugal and will finish first, and Germany will be second.
I think if France beats Portugal, then Portugal are knocked out. They won't even get in as the lucky loser.
We'll see. You know, from our group, the third team can have 2 points, most likely. You know, it's possible. I'm not.
But your group
there's enough teams that have 4 points.
Yeah. Even if if France beat Portugal, because Portugal at the moment are on +1 goal difference after they got pounded by Germany, and they're only on 3 points. Czech Republic are on 4 points. Who are the other ones on 3? So you got Ukraine who are on -1.
Switzerland is on 4. So Switzerland is on 4.
Yeah, it depends who. Yeah, it will depend whether Portugal's goal difference goes below Ukraine's, because Ukraine are on -1 and Portugal are on +1. So if France beat Portugal 3-0, which is unlikely but possible, then Ukraine could go through instead of Portugal.
This is so crazy. I don't even be bothering to figure it out. I just be like listening to you guys, or I'll watch the show, and however it works out, it works out. This is so like, why would somebody invent a math like this? I mean, it is fun.
Well, even if Slovakia, Spain's a draw, Spain have 3 points.
That's what I was going to say. That Slovakia, Spain is going to be probably third guy, that group. So then that just leaves 1 spot left.
No, I don't think Slovakia can get a point from Spain. I mean, they were so extremely lucky, and Poland was so extremely unlucky to lose this first game. Like, everything went wrong for Poland that could possibly go wrong, because we were dominating the game, and then they scored. No, listen, the ball
dominating,
and the goalkeeper back of his head and went in. Then we dominated again. We scored an equalizer. We dominate, and the guy makes a stupid mistake, gets a red card. And then they score a great goal. But still, 10 against 11, Poland was dominating with such a fluky,
dominating,
horrible loss. What I'm trying to say is that Slovakia is not a very good team, and I don't see
the Slovakia that beat you guys.
But in the circumstances I just described, and I don't think, especially with Spain not winning first 2 games, I think Spain will just waltz through them. You know, they will.
Slovakia are gonna park the bus though in that game, because a draw is good for Slovakia.
And they're not good enough. They're just not good enough as a team. I think Spain will just destroy them tomorrow. They have to.
But Spain ain't got no scoring. They can't even score penalties.
They have some scoring. You know, they have Ferran Torres. They have a bunch of offensive players.
Morata.
Look, well, I like Spain. So let's just talk about Spain for a second. Like, I'm hearing people like some of the pundits on ESPN, who I said last week that I like. They put on a very entertaining, really good show, and but maybe this wasn't from them, but people are like like what's the Spanish coach name? I slips my
Luis
mind.
Enrique.
They're saying Luis Enrique can't coach, and I'm like, this
No.
guy can coach.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have a forward. Like, how could you watch Spain play and think the team has no direction? And that blows my mind. Maybe they're watching more than one game at the same time. I have no idea. But when I see Spain, I know exactly what their game plan is. I know exactly what they're gonna do, and you know exactly what their problem is. What they want to do is score and create multiple chances, which they do, but they don't have a scorer. So I feel like Luis Enrique is coaching his ass off. He can't run on the field and put the ball in the back of the net.
I think in the last game,
Hold on, Martin.
Yeah.
I think in the last game they put Moreno in to play with Morata, the guy who's top scored for Villarreal this season, and his movement was good. He was getting in good positions. He just didn't quite hook it up against Poland. But I think if they start him and Morata against Slovakia, I think they could play two forwards again against Slovakia, because Slovakia are going to sit off. So I think it could come together for them. And like I said before, tournament football is about peaking at the right time. I mean, I picked Spain as like a dark horse before the tournament. I might have to dial that back slightly based on so far, but I mean, they should go through, and I think they will score the goals they need tomorrow. But I like Moreno; he's a good finisher, so I think it will come together.
They just have to beat Slovakia, right?
Yeah.
Morata is not that bad to not score against Slovakia. I mean, he's not a top level striker, but he's not a horrible striker. I mean, he can score against Slovakia. Why not? You know, like he doesn't deliver usually against the top opponents, but you know, playing Slovakia, he can score a hat trick. I wouldn't be surprised if he scores a hat trick.
You know, the chances that Morata misses have nothing to do with the level of opposition. It's essentially him against
the
himself.
level of Morata.
It's mental. So you play Slovakia,
so
mentally you feel superior. You know, when you play Poland, which is kind of a dangerous team, and then you play, you know, those top teams. You know, it might be in your head, but Slovakia, you don't really have that much respect.
He scored against Poland, though.
No, Poland has the best player in the world. I mean, you do have respect. By the way, Luis Enrique, because Ferran Torres said that nobody will be scared of Lewandowski, and Luis Enrique after the game spoke to the journalist, and he says that was a very stupid statement from my player. He's young, he still needs to learn. That was a very stupid thing to say. So, you know, some Polish players, they do have like international respect. Slovakia as a team is a complete newbie to that type of environment. So I don't think they have enough against Spain, and we've seen it today.
So Martin, so you're saying Poland is out the tournament because you're saying Spain is going to beat Slovakia. Spain beats Slovakia, then you have to beat Sweden,
and we will. It's not that great Swedish team. I mean, why not? Why not?
Because they know how they're going to park the bus. If you think Slovakia is going to park the bus, Spain is going to park. I mean, Sweden is going to park 3 buses.
But they're through already, so they it's not like a do or die for them.
I don't think they'll want to lose the game, though. They'll want to finish high in the group. And also, for me, Sweden have been one of the most organised teams in the tournament so far defensively. And they're very boring. They're very boring to watch. But
who does Sweden play if they win the group? Who does Sweden play if they come second?
I think they play Croatia to win. Oh, sorry, Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden.
I think Sweden play. Oh, they're not in my bracket, so sorry.
Neil will tell us that tomorrow.
They don't go through. Oh no, sorry. They play Croatia if they win.
And what if they just get 1 point tomorrow? They still win the group, so they play Croatia regardless.
Yeah.
No, they could if Spain, say if Sweden lost, Spain win, then Sweden come second.
No.
And who would they? Martin, just 1 second. So who does Sweden play if they come second?
If they come second, then who's Spain? England. No.
Nah.
Czech Republic.
So it doesn't matter to them. They're playing. I'm just trying to see if what Martin said was true.
What if they finish third? Because if they lose to Poland, they finish third most likely. Because Spain will beat Slovakia, and if Poland beats Sweden, Poland finish second. Spain will finish third.
Yeah, actually, I take that back. I really don't know because this is very complicated with that third
It is
team.
complicated.
It is
So
very
back
complicated.
to what I was trying to say about Spain. So 3 different things. First of all, I agree with you. The problem is striker, and they had this problem for 90% of their history. Because the reason, let me finish. I want to make 3 points, and then you can comment on it. So point number 1, they won trophies. They won 3 trophies in a row when they had a top level striker, and he made all the difference. David Villa made all the difference for that team. When they were winning World Cup, they were winning games in the last 16 and quarterfinals and semifinals, 1-0, 1-0, and before also 1-0. The goal scorer David Villa. He made a huge impact and huge difference in those games. So they don't have a guy like that. If they had David Villa on this team, they would be much better. Second, I agree with you that not having strikers is a problem, but it's not only that. They don't have Xavi Iniesta level of talent in the midfield. They pass the ball well, but they pass the ball in the same pace. They kept possession, but they never really created anything against Poland.
Oh, they did.
No, Szczęsny had one save the whole game.
Martin, I just watched the highlights, and you're lucky Spain.
How many shots they had on goal? 2. Two shots on goal the whole game.
Let me go back. But chances is like, like you said, shots on goal, right? Yeah. Morata kicked a ball over a net when the goal was empty. So you could say you can count shots on goals.
Five on goal.
Thank you. But that's 11, a lot.
11 attempts, 5 on target, 6 off target, and 1 on the woodwork.
Yeah, that's a lot, Martin. They create. They're not. That's why I'm impressed, because their midfield, who doesn't have a Xavi and Iniesta, are creating Xavi and Iniesta amount of chances.
No,
you're wrong. The stats just told you you're wrong. So what?
They did have
they got players like Koke, Thiago, Pedri.
Like,
these are
Thiago didn't even start, I think, the first game. So
no, he's been a sub in both games.
Yeah.
I don't think he started the first game.
That's what I mean. Yeah, he was a sub in the first game.
Yeah. So the fact that Luis and I completely agree that I think the manager is doing what the manager can do and should do.
Yes. During
the tournament, but I feel like the whole striker thing has gone on so long. He's been the manager for like 2 or 3 years. He should know. Like, that's what we blame Gareth Southgate for, right? Like, he's coming into a major tournament not knowing who his main players in a few critical positions are, and that seems to me that's where Luis Enrique is kind of not really clear about. I mean, if you're still banking on Morata to get you
Diego Costa.
They don't have strikers, bro.
I mean, you can try different things. Like, as Lee said, Moreno could be that guy. You have somebody like Adama Traore. Like, if you really want to play Morata, right? You know what are Morata's strengths. He's a great header of the ball. Why isn't Adama Traore getting consistent game time with him to deliver those? Like, if you really have very few outlets, you should maximize that.
Can I tell you? Because that's the thing. Adama Traore is another chance creator, right? He's a chance creator. You look at his how much he scores in the Premier League. Right. It's not about goals. He's a chance creator.
Yeah.
You're still gonna have the same problem.
No. But he's a very specific kind of chance creator, and that suits Morata's game really well. So, like, if you remember, like when Morata
was putting the crosses over and
and the head.
But the Morata still doesn't do that because he played for Chelsea and they figured, he's the same height as your boy Diego Costa. The slot him in there. He got a
lot, like the Azpilicueta Morata link up created a lot of goals from open play headers.
You say a lot now, but it wasn't enough because they sold him. So it's not a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I'm just saying, like, proportionate to how many goals in the air normal strikers get. This guy was that's one of his strengths, is my point. So if you're still playing somebody like him who doesn't have a lot of strengths, at least cater to the strengths that he does have.
Morata, for some reason, I don't know, I don't want to make blanket statements. It's just not good as your only, like, but I feel like every generation, like, there's generations when your country has strikers and there's generations when they don't have international strikers. And I think Spain is just, I say, try the Moreno thing, like, because he did good for, what was it, Villarreal?
Yeah.
So try him. How many did he have? 30 goals or something like that? I say you try him.
He just can't take penalties for Spain.
Yeah. But so Martin, go ahead. What is your last point? Because your second one stunk.
Yeah, oh, come on, man. It's funny. Somebody mentioned that Luis Enrique on the broadcast, actually, or I think maybe not wasn't on the broadcast. It was in one of the analyses on another network that Luis Enrique apparently hates Real Madrid players and never. That's why he didn't call a single Real Madrid player.
That's not true.
Why not?
Nah,
he didn't call anybody in.
But there's nobody to call in. There's nobody.
There are a couple of players you could call in.
Like who?
Like Ramos, for example.
I think Ramos got COVID, right? Did he?
Which Ramos? Sergio Ramos?
Sergio Ramos?
He just come back from injury.
Okay, yeah. He got COVID during the Champions League. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's injured. He played 4 games all year. He's recovering from an injury. It's time to move on.
I don't know, man. Like Pepe, he's 38 and he still plays for Portugal, so I don't know, man.
Yeah, but Pepe played all season. Like Ramos didn't. It's like,
but there's not a guy on Spain team that is like a leader, like a vocal leader, someone who could really make this team click. It seems like they're all over the place mentally, emotionally.
I think Luis Enrique has made statements that he does not like Real Madrid fans, and he didn't have a good time there because of the fans, But I don't think he hates Real Madrid players. Like he's a coach of Spain. Like how many coaches, like even the coach of Italy, like you didn't think he had a rivalry against Napoli when he was coaching. What teams did he coach? I can't remember right now in Italy, but
he was Inter manager. He played for a whole bunch of clubs like Lazio and Sampdoria.
Yeah. But he's using all the players from everywhere. He doesn't care. He's just trying to win. Spain. I just think Real Madrid don't have international level players or age players. Because you're a Madrid fan. I'm a Madrid fan. They just don't got. They ain't got nobody right now.
Even the guys who previously have been operating at a high level for them, like Asensio and Isco, they had poor seasons, inconsistent seasons.
They didn't play for Real Madrid,
Yeah. Nacho maybe at the back could have been an option, but he's not like a super elite level defender.
Right.
Fantastic player.
Who, Nacho?
Yeah.
Yes, great player.
He's good, but he's not better than Laporte or Pau Torres.
I'm not sure about Pau Torres. All Pau Torres was doing the whole game, he was trying to grab Lewandowski's shirt. He wasn't really defending.
It's a nice shirt, Martin.
And they've got Eric Garcia, who's just gone to Barca from Man City as well in the squad. So he's a good defender too. So Pau Torres has been heavily linked with United today.
Yeah, I heard that. I was ignoring that all day.
I think every Spanish wasn't Varane also being linked?
Yeah. Let me see what else I want to ask you guys. So let's go into. We talked about watching, like the Denmark story. Like if we want to talk about like stories of the tournament, like I said, watching the split screen of Denmark versus Russia, and Belgium versus was it Finland?
Finland, yeah.
And Finland was fighting for their life to stay in the tournament. They already had 3 points, and I also felt like Belgium was playing for Denmark. It's like we beat them the game after. They lost to Finland, and their player Erikson got had a heart attack, and we feel bad we beat them, but we have to take care of business. But we don't. This team deserves to stay in this tournament, and even though they, it's funny because the injuries that Belgium had going into the tournament played out to benefit Denmark, because you need to get Hazard time, right? You needed to get De Bruyne time, and it's the third game, and you're already through, but they need to get in the game, right? So
because they rested their defenders, but they didn't rest any forwards.
Right. So in a game where you would normally rest people, they hadn't. If they'd have played at the first 2 games, they would have got rested, right? Because you don't want to have, but you need to get them game time to acclimate them. So now, boom, they get their best players on the field, and they win the game, and it benefits Denmark. And Denmark, that game against Russia was just crazy. You know, it's 1-0, then 2-0, and then the Russian gets that dubious penalty. Like, that's crazy because they haven't even been calling calls like that all game. And then Denmark goes on to score 2 more. Christenson's goal was just, how does a defender hit a shot like that? That was crazy. I don't know what you guys think of those games.
It kind of almost felt like in the Belgian game that they weren't going to get the breaks because that Finland keeper was playing amazing. He was putting off some great saves, and then Lukaku scored that goal, which looked very onside. But VAR, this is probably the most controversial VAR call of the tournament so far. But then obviously, they found a way in those last sort of 20 minutes to get their goals. Lukaku scored like a trademark Lukaku goal that just back to goal, spin and finish.
From the brain that we're going to be seeing at Man City, like you said earlier.
Yeah, so it was good to see them get the job done. And like Lukaku, he's Erikson's teammate at Inter, so it seemed like he wanted to do it for him.
Yeah.
And also for me, because I've bet on him for the Golden Boot, so I feel like he's doing it for me and Erikson.
Really doing it for you.
Well, at least he's doing something for somebody, because he wasn't doing it for me at Manchester United at all.
Well, he always scored against Southampton, though, so he gave you that.
Jesus, I mean, we could find somebody to score against Southampton. Martin, did you see any of those games? What do you think about them?
I've seen portions of them. I didn't like the full games, but I've seen the goals and I've seen some highlights. Well, definitely Denmark deserved it. I would say Finland is the Slovakia status, that they were extremely lacking, unusual circumstances, and they shouldn't have won a single game this tournament. They're probably, together with Slovakia, the worst team in the tournament. And Macedonia. 3 of those teams are just not, they just don't belong to this tournament. I think it's too many teams in Euros, and some of them are just not good enough. Finland never plays in any major tournaments. They have maybe 1 or 2 decent players, and that's about it. And that this game was bizarre against Denmark. We all know what happened in this game, right? The result was the consequence of what happened during the game with Erikson. And then it was proved in the two more games that they're clearly the worst team in the group, and got lucky because Russia ended at the bottom of the group, and Russia beat Finland pretty easily. They should have scored more goals, I guess.
Well, let me ask you all a question. Now that Netherlands has won all 3 games, and we were in the chat debating De Boer. So let's bring that debate between Lee and
this
Martin.
is that time of the day.
to life, yeah. Might as well. So, I guess I kind of instigated it. I was like, the way De Boer is coaching the Netherlands, I guess Lee is not going to be chipping in to have a plane flown over the Netherlands training ground to criticize how he should coach. And then Martin and Lee went back and forth. So, Martin, how do you feel about Frank De Boer, as a Netherlands coach, or coach, period?
I had a chance to talk to him on different occasions when he was a player still at Barcelona. I did, and then lately when he was appointed as Atlanta United manager. As a matter of fact, that was his first interview. I was still working for 442 magazine, and I interviewed him, and he always came across as a very knowledgeable guy, very passionate about football and a certain style of football, offensive football. He won a lot of trophies at Ajax as a manager. He was very, very successful. And then he was extremely unlucky at Crystal Palace. He only got 4 games. And people are mocking him because of what Mourinho said on TV, because Mourinho was Mourinho at that time. Now everybody knows that he's just a troll most of the time. But at the time, people were still following what Mourinho says. And
Mourinho has always been a troll.
Yeah, no, by the way, he could back it up with his coaching, and that's not the case anymore. And so he said that De Boer was the worst manager in the history of the Premier League because he coached in 4 games and lost 4. But how you can judge someone after 4 games? There's so many there's so many managers that didn't start very well and then ended up
like Roy Hudson. He lost the 4 games after he took over for Frank de Boer.
Exactly. You know, like another example is Sir Alex Ferguson, who for first 2 years couldn't do much at United and then built the dynasty.
Oh boy, here he goes with the
no. I mean, it's a great example, and I think De Boer is a great football mind. He was ahead of his time as a player, and he's a very good manager. At Atlanta, he took the team to the conference finals without their best player sold to Newcastle, Almiron. And then he lost Martinez, the best scorer, to ACL, and everything fell apart. I mean, that's the way it is. But now I think
did he get fired from Atlanta?
Yeah, in the second year. But they were incomplete. They had so many injuries. They were playing B team pretty much.
All right, Lee, what do you have to say about Martin's Frank de Boer dissertation?
I think he's a good manager, but for me, he's not a world-class manager. He won a bunch of stuff for Ajax, but it's his club. Like, he knows the style there. Like, he came through that sort of Cruyff school of coaching kind of thing with that. So he worked in that environment, but he came to the Premier League, he was a disaster. Yes, he only had 4 games. It was maybe premature, but they didn't score a single goal and they didn't get a single point. And although it's 4 games, you still have pre-season to prepare the team. You shouldn't start a league that bad. That's like the worst start to the Premier League ever, period, for any team. 4 games, 4 losses, 0 goals scored. That's a disaster.
How did he finish the season? You know, even worse. You know, so
no, better than that.
And you told me, but we started well. You know, it's the whole season. You know, sometimes you start bad, sometimes you finish bad. You know, but you have to judge the whole season. He got only 4 games. You cannot judge up to 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's premature, but I also think it's alarmingly bad at the same time. And then if you look at what he did at Inter, he was terrible at Inter Milan. He got fired after 127 days. His record at Inter was awful. So he's great in an environment that is built for him, like Ajax. Terrible when he goes everywhere else, it seems. And at Holland, they had the easiest group. I think they'll be the same as England, where as soon as they play a real quality team, they'll go out.
Who's Holland got next? Who does Holland have next?
I'm not sure. I've not seen who they could.
Because they played all their 3 matches, right? They qualified.
Yeah. I mean, I really like some of their players, like De Jong and Wijnaldum in the middle. They're 2 world-class players. Depay has stepped up, but I still think there's too many holes in that team. Yeah, I think like in terms of 1 to 11, there's bits there which aren't as strong as other teams. And they've played a group where they could just play open attacking football. Even the fans aren't that happy. Like, he's getting criticised in Holland because he's playing 3-5-2, which they Holland are like, you must play 4-3-3. Like, it's ingrained in the football culture there.
But that's not a legit gripe based on the results.
Oh no, I'm not saying it is legitimate.
If they win, it's like, man, he should have. But if they win the tournament, I can't believe he didn't play 4-3-3.
But I think they are gonna play somebody from the France, Portugal, Germany group in the next round. That'll be interesting. Yeah, they might play the 3rd place team from that group.
So Lee, you're not impressed at all? Because look at England in their group. They should have won all 3 games pretty easily. So De Boer got his team to get out of his group unscathed. Yeah. I know in that first game they had those defensive lapses, but they fixed it, made the adjustment, actually came back and won the game. It could have been a disaster. And then I don't think they've let anybody score after that. I might be wrong.
Well, they've only played North Macedonia and Austria after that. They beat North Macedonia 3-0. You should do that. Austria was a better result.
Yeah, Austria is like a fully fledged Bundesliga squad.
It's a good team.
From some of they're Bundesliga all the way through. We're talking Leipzig guys, Bayern guys, Mönchengladbach guys. They got some peoples in there.
Yeah, they got some, but like I say, we'll see. I still don't think. I think he's being carried by the quality that's in the squad, in terms of those players like the De Jong and Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum balled out in that last game, but it's like I say, it's Macedonia.
No, but I think Wijnaldum actually is probably one of the examples I would say as a credit to De Boer's management or coaching, because that's not the way he plays at Liverpool.
Right.
He isn't really. He's kind of playing like an attacking midfielder right now.
But you know, it's funny. He's playing the way he played at Newcastle, which is why Klopp wanted him. That's why he stood out to me at Newcastle. Why he got bought at Liverpool, and when he got to Liverpool, because of the emergence maybe of other people, they just Klopp put him.
No, but also their front three do so much of the scoring.
Yeah.
They don't really maybe need a lot of goals from midfield.
Yeah,
but it's really a very stark contrast to what we've seen.
Yeah, he's playing in Newcastle style. But Ronaldo, to me, when it's all said and done, like he might be one of those names that you forget in football until somebody's mentioned him. But this guy is really fucking good. He's underrated right before our eyes, even as he does amazing things. Like this guy is one of the best of this era. And, you know, to be a black guy, a Dutch captain, and, you know, I just rate him highly, man. And just for him, I hope he goes far in this tournament, just to get some respect on his name.
There's a reason why when he became available, the two clubs that were after were Barca and PSG.
Yeah,
like he's being wanted by elite level clubs, and I mean, yeah, he's one of the players of the tournament so far. But again, I still don't think Netherlands have a hope of reaching the semi-final. I think quarter-final is the best they can do. Just, you know, same as in England, that they won't go past that mark for me.
Who are we saying are actually? I don't know if we are at that part yet, but my point is, like, you know, so many of these teams look like, you know, they're not there yet to win it, but somebody has to win it. So who do we think are those teams going to be?
Who's going to win it? Like
who's going to be in the final? I guess
still France, man. Like, listen, a lot of people backed off France because of the game against Hungary, but you have to respect Hungary. Like, they're playing at home. They are tough. Like, I watched their games. Their players got skill. They might not have no names, but their confidence is through the roof, and they are balling, man. Like,
and France didn't lose.
And France did not lose. Then it's not easy to beat this team, man. It's as a matter of fact, just playing Hungary, like, I remember, it's like so when I was in high school, we went to college to play. And then you realize the level on how tough and everything could be. And then you realize, there's another level I can raise myself. And then you raise yourself to that level. So I think playing Hungary lets the French players know we got to take it up another level. And you have to play somebody that lets you know that to do that. And now if France adds that level of physicality to the finesse and the speed and the composure that they got, like, I think them playing Hungary actually made them a better team. As opposed to look bad, you know.
And France did play Luca Dean in that game as well.
Exactly, and which is their weakness. I told you, their backs. But go ahead, Martin.
Let's not forget that Hungary in the first game against Portugal created a lot of chances. They scored the first goal that was disallowed because of the offside situation, you know, which was
not a goal there, Martin.
I understand, but the result 3-0 to Portugal doesn't describe what happened in the game. They were kind of lucky because they scored 3 goals in the last 8 minutes. And they really should have won it 1-0 probably, or draw would be a good result for this game. So Hungary is not bad. However, I think Germany will beat them and probably win the group. Talking about Netherlands, I think Netherlands have everything to reach top 4, and then maybe not enough against someone like France. But I think they'll go far in this tournament. I really do.
And then I do want to talk about the Germany-Portugal game, because Germany had they dropped points, they lost, and Germany has no defense, and they're trying to play this style of game, this well-rounded style of game, but because they have no points, they were forced to play to their strengths, which is they have more than enough offensive players on the field and on their bench. And they went to their offensive game, which opened them up to Portugal, and which is Portugal's strength to play counter-attacking football. And Portugal scored first. but it also made Germany have to double down on going to their offense because now they're down one. They still have to attack in a game that they need to win. And then they attack and they go up 2. And then now Portugal's like, shit, we're gonna fall behind in the group. And then Portugal opens up, which plays more into Germany's strength. And then they keep attacking, and then they score more. And they kind of blow Portugal out or spank the shit out of them. So, props to Joachim Low for not changing the system the way people wanted him to change it and sticking to it and just leaning into the strengths of Germany. And I wonder if Germany is going to play that way more, or will they do it on a game-to-game basis based on what they need?
I think they can afford to against Hungary because Hungary will sit off and try and pinch a win the way they know how, which is to counter-attack.
Doesn't Hungary have to win this though?
They have to win, but I still think they won't do it by throwing players forward because they haven't got the quality to do that. They'll try and do it with a 1-0 on the counter-attack or something. So I don't think they'll play any different to how they've been playing so far. So I think Germany will have most of the ball, and yeah, it's up to Germany to break them down. But I mean,
they did attack France in the first half. They actually did attack. They did attack France.
Yeah, they did a little bit.
Not throwing bodies forward too wildly. They still were looking for counter-attacks.
Who you guys got between Portugal and France?
France.
Why?
It's a better team, more complete.
I'm saying 1-1.
Yeah. I
think Portugal still feel like they can be got at. And France do actually, we to keep talking about Germany not having those clinical scorers, Spain not having those clinical scorers. France actually has those players.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really need to do, I feel like every time I watch France, they're playing with the handbrake on, but they kind of they don't really need to do anything more.
Yeah, I mean, those attacking players though, they've won through an own goal against Germany, and then they finally broke down Hungary to score with a rebound from Griezmann. So they haven't looked any better attacking wise than anyone else in this tournament so far.
Yeah, but when they won in 1998, also they didn't look that great in the group stages because they were kind of saving themselves a little bit. I remember even Zidane got a red card against Saudi Arabia, and they didn't look good. And then when it mattered, they were unstoppable. But let me tell you this interesting note about Portugal and Germany. So Semedo played in this famous game for Barcelona when they lost 2-8 to Bayern. And, whoever was attacking his side was pretty much, they were scoring all the goals, right? Bayern in that game. And the history repeated itself in the game at Germany against Portugal. Again, Semedo, they attacked him. And they got all his most dangerous plays out of Semedo's side. So I would just not play him. I mean, he's just not good defensively.
But who else they got?
They have Cancelo is injured.
Yeah, he's injured.
Fonte.
Who?
Fonte.
He's not a right back though.
He can play that position.
He's not. He's a 36-year-old centre back. I would not put him right back against
Mbappe.
But you play three. You play three in the back, and you play the wingers. You just play that way. I think.
Yeah, but you don't put the wingers as wing backs because they won't defend, and all of a sudden you've got a back three that's getting stretched across the width of a pitch.
Well, you would think that Portugal can do a good job playing three at the back because all you need to do is essentially just play the Wolves team, and they'll probably do fine. But I just feel like France, they can just do enough to get this across Portugal.
How do you guys feel about Italy? They won 3 in a row. They beat Wales with their second squad. What do you think, Martin?
They look good, but I think Austria will be a dangerous opponent for the next game.
Yeah, that's going to be Serie A versus Bundesliga. Why do you think it's going to be that dangerous? Why do you think Austria is going to be so dangerous for them?
They look good. I like the way they play, and more props to Holland for beating them because they're legitimately a good team.
I feel like Italy can beat Austria. It's other teams they're going to have problems with. I like what Italy's doing. They play like somebody said this. They play like a club team,
Yeah.
and their coach is from Italy. He knows all the players, so he has that advantage, and he has them really like playing like a club team, and they've changed up their style. But something tells me they're susceptible to something, and you won't know until somebody beats them. But I could be wrong. What do you feel about Italy, Lee?
For me, so far, they look like the most cohesive team. They look like the most well-coached team so far. But I will caveat by saying they've had a very kind group. So it's hard to tell, and it'll be interesting to see them when they come up against a really quality team. But they've got like a mix of experience and players that are new on the scene and want to prove themselves. Like Locatelli in the Switzerland game looked like he had a point to prove, scored 2 great goals. But they know that they can still call on the experience of Bonucci and Chiellini at the back as well. Immobile looks like he's going to cause problems for teams, and Sydney is playing well. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens when they come up against one of these elite teams. I think like Martin said, I think Austria will cause them problems. Austria will be their toughest game so far.
Right.
But I think Italy will squeeze past them. It'll be only by 1 goal maybe, or it might even be like an extra time thing. But I think that's going to be a good game to watch. But I think Italy will get past them, but then it's what happens when they come up against a Germany or a France or someone like that.
Yes.
But we'll see. But I still think they could make the semis. I definitely make the final, but I think they can make the semis.
Yeah, they might. What do you think about them, Neil? Italy.
Yeah, I think Italy so far has looked as the most, the team that's been the best on show so far, and it seems like they have every aspect of the play, covered. It can't really see the team and figure out a flaw, except you wonder sometimes how those aging centre backs are going to be against, like if they have to face a France with Mbappe and Griezmann, with that pace coming up against them. But otherwise, for the most part, they seem to. It seems to be a team in Mancini's image, and you kind of see a lot of these combinations, right? You see Bonucci, Chiellini at the back. You see Insigne and Immobile in the front. Like we've known these partnerships for so long now, so seemed like everybody knows exactly what they're doing. Even Belotti looked good for me, when he was playing. He seems to be somebody who's kind of fallen off the radar. Like I remember a couple of seasons ago, Belotti had this insane season for Torino, and he was being linked to a lot of teams, but transfer never happened, and I haven't really heard much of him. But he seems to be playing at a pretty high level. So I actually feel like apart from France, Italy is the team to look out for.
They're better than Belgium to you?
Yeah, because Belgium, the 2 players Belgium depends so much on, De Bruyne and Hazard. I've never seen a lot of consistency from them in tournament play. And I'm not just talking about World Cup, like even for their clubs in Champions League, I haven't seen a lot of consistency from them in those. I think they're great league players, but their cup form, both for club and country, has been a little faulty.
Are you shitting on Hazard when he played for Chelsea? Is that what you're telling me?
At the European stage, yes.
Interesting.
Belgium's an interesting one because I don't really rate their defense at all.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do think Courtois is possibly the best keeper in the tournament.
Yeah.
So they've got that, but then they've got a lot of experience at the back. So it just depends, like you say, if they come up against someone like France eventually, who've got pace.
It's a similar case with Italy, right? Italy also has
Donnarumma. Alderweireld and Vertonghen, they want the game in front of them, not behind them.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens if and when they come up against a team like that.
I mean, the thing with Belgium is, if De Bruyne, Hazard, Lukaku have a good game, there's literally no team in the world they can't beat. So it's just a matter of, can they have how many 4 more good games, all 3 of them? It took a while for them to get going in the last game.
Who's Wales going to play next? Or we don't know yet.
Oh no, I think it's decided they got Denmark.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because everybody was saying Denmark is so emotional. They've already achieved more than everybody thought after the Erikson thing. So they're just playing with free money, house money.
Yeah, I think that'll be a tight game. That one. Wales will be quite pragmatic, I think.
Yeah, I'd give that to Denmark.
They should have the quality to beat them, but I think like Wales, like I say, they'll have like Dan James and Gareth Bale on the counter attack, trying to get them in behind. So, but I think Denmark should win that one by a goal, could be 1-0 or 2-1 or something.
Is that going to be Gareth Bale's last? Is it Gareth Bale's last one? Because he's kind of hinted that he might want to retire.
Not officially, but possibly.
And the World Cup is next year. This is a weird year. The World Cup is actually literally next year. So everybody who would normally not make it to the next World Cup, this is like a warm-up tournament for that. And they can make it there. Any last words, Martin? What you got before we get out of here?
Yeah, it's because you mentioned World Cup, I'm gonna throw in something. You know that the Gold Cup starts in a few days, and Qatar actually is participating. The hosts of the next World Cup are participating in the Gold Cup, which makes absolutely no sense because they have what is their connection with North America? So we have that, and then we have Copa America at the same time is playing so many games at the same time. You know, you have Gold Cup, you have Euros, you have Copa America, and then you have World Cup next year. We were joking in our little chat that they should do the Great Britain Cup so England can win it.
We wouldn't win that.
And I mean, it's just so many games. It's kind of. I still enjoy those Euros, but the fact that there are so many games in World Cup coming makes it a little bit less exclusive, I would say. And I think some of the players might approach that as well. Like thinking that World Cup is the tournament for them.
Well, they might be tired too.
Yeah.
After this, and then everybody playing for something in their regions, plus qualifiers, and then the league and Champions League and whatever cups and copas.
It's going to be an AFCON middle of next season.
A what?
The African Cup of Nations.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, isn't the World Cup a Winter World Cup as well, though?
Yeah, that's the next season. Yeah. Winter of next season, yeah.
So when does everybody's regular season start? It was going to be weird anyway, and then COVID made it even weirder. So when if there's a winter, so are they going to take a club break?
Yeah.
In the middle of the season?
I think that's what's going to happen. All the European leagues are going to take.
They're going to start slightly earlier, finish slightly later with the regular season,
like they did now for the COVID.
Because the teams that have best players, right, will be in a tougher position than the teams without best players, because some players will come back from World Cup after being eliminated, and they will have more time to work on their season, right, with the club, and some of the top players that play for those teams like France, Germany, Argentina, Brazil will come tired, and they'll probably not play right away. So that might hugely affect the next season in the Premier League. Yeah.
So I think what you'll see is that that'll kind of also define transfer strategy. I think a lot of teams that are serious will stockpile a little bit so that they can have those extra bodies, before and after.
Right now,
or they'll look at which nations didn't qualify and sign players from those countries.
So I'm just checking right now. So November 21st will be the first game. November 21st
of the World Cup.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a Christmas World Cup.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be over by when?
January, I guess.
Yeah.
It typically takes a month. Yeah, it takes a month and a half, 2 months, right?
No, it's like a month.
Euros is going to be a month.
By
21st, I think, of December.
No, but you're talking about when the first game starts, right? Teams will be gone, players will be gone for 2 weeks before that.
November starts and it will end on 20th of December. Yeah.
Yeah, but players will be gone for at least 2 weeks before that. Just linking up the national teams, training, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to like that was something different. I was just asking him, when does it start and when does the World Cup start and when does World Cup end? So it
starts November 21st. It ends December 18th.
I never even thought about that. That's so fucking crazy.
Thing is though, like in a way though, it's kind of fair to do it like that once, because there are some leagues that don't run on the same calendar as European leagues.
But
like even the Scandinavian ones, like the Swedish league plays throughout the summer. The MLS is only MLS is only a few weeks in.
Yeah, but just wanted to add, but the Premier League usually spikes up at the end of December. They have like four game days in a row, and right now they don't do that, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Traditionally, it's a tradition that you play Boxing Day, then you play New Year's Day, then you play after New Year's.
I guess we won't be doing that this year.
No.
So this year,
next year. Yeah, that's so weird. Neil, any last words? Hopefully, Martin won't interrupt you.
No, I always like chaos, so I'm actually looking forward to next season to see how all of this is gonna happen.
It's hilarious.
I'd love to see teams like having to name 3 subs on their benches, not having enough players, no goalkeepers on the bench, and some centre backs gonna have to take the gloves. Can't wait to see that. But no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sure you'll be calm if that happens to Chelsea. I'm sure.
Wait, as long as it's not Kepa taking the gloves.
Yeah, he will be.
No, I just gotta give I still gotta rep Chelsea a little bit, so I gotta give props to Billy Gilmore having a great game and then catching COVID right after. So he's proven his point on the global stage, and then done enough to like get a good rest.
What's the point? Get COVID?
No, he's proven his point. Like, this guy, Premier League debut, man of the match. FA Cup debut versus Liverpool, man of the match. Champions League debut, man of the match. And full Scotland debut, man of the match. So,
I think the man of the match for the Scotland debut was a little overboard. Like, he wasn't the best player.
It was a 0-0, so
I'd give it to Shea Adams. Or he wasn't the best player on the pitch. Like, there were some times where Mason Mount handled him and he couldn't get the ball off Mason Mount. Like who gave him that award? Graham Souness?
I have no idea.
That's a little.
And also, I think
I will thank him for giving Chilwell and Mount COVID so that we get to start Shaw and we get to start Grealish. Yeah. So I'll thank Billy Gilmore for that.
And also, I think Andreas Christensen, the one thing that as Chelsea fans, we've been dying to see from Christensen all these years, got great skills, but always seems a little leggy, little lack of passion when it comes to those big moments. He had a huge big moment performance there last night. And the way he reacted after scoring that goal, I think it can be a great, he's already done bits over the last 6 months, coming on Champions League final and doing a great job. So I really hope that he can take his game to the next level on the back of performances like this.
All right. Yeah. What you got, Lee?
I want to shout out a guy called Ben Brereton, who's playing for Chile in the Copa America. He was born in Stoke. He plays for Blackburn in the Championship, but he's got a Chilean mother. His dad's English, his mum's from Chile. And he's balling out in the Copa America. He scored against Bolivia, scored a good goal, and then he got a great assist against Uruguay last night. So, it's this guy from the Midlands in the UK, and he's just balling out in the Copa America for Chile, which is it's so random. The fact that he plays for a championship team as well. But he was part of the England under-17s who won the under-17 Euros a few years ago, because he's still not that old. He's like 21, 22 or something. So he's obviously got something, and I think there might even be some Premier League clubs looking at him after this, because like I say, he's balling out over there. And it's a great story. I like these real random football stories that just come up like this.
And he doesn't even speak English too. That's what I heard. He doesn't speak Spanish. Yeah.
I don't think he speaks it, or doesn't speak it that great anyway.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I just, so far the tournament has been dope, like we said in the beginning. I hope it even goes to another level going into the knockout rounds. It's still a weird tournament because, like somebody just pointed out, I think it was Lee, France has the results, but they haven't really, they've looked good in one match. They had a tough match, but they're still the favorites. But they haven't. They only scored 1 goal. Granted, they only played 2 matches, but they have 4 points. So if you don't like look into the depths of things, you actually might think they're just all one way. England has 7 points. They haven't looked that great, but they have 7 points, which might be more points than other people from other groups who people think are better. So it's going to take the knockout round to really straighten out and for us to find out who's really who. So I'm just looking for the round of who's really who, and I'm looking forward to that. So thank you all for listening. Thank you guys for participating as usual. Martin with his Rip Diesel shirt. He did not get the dress code memo about wearing a black shirt like all of us are doing. So what? Nobody told you? Check your email. Neil, those silver plated headphones, they work so far. Good Amazon review. I'll go on Amazon and give it a good review myself. ACDC Lee, thanks for joining us. Get some sleep. You know what I'm saying?
We're in this because England are on the highway to hell with our bracket draw.
It's hilarious. And we love you all out there. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the games. And see you. And you'll hear us next week. And thank you, Aaron.